Okay, guys, welcome back to a new video here, and we got some major news and a major update. So we've been talking about the possibility of this potentially happening, and now we're getting confirmation from Israeli sources that this is going to happen. So this is from the Times of Israel today. The IDF sees a chance for strikes on Iranian nuclear sites after knocking out Syrian air defenses. So we were talking about yesterday, for example, how the IDF has been hammering Syria, eliminating 85 to 90% of their military capabilities. We've been talking about this, and I even brought up how it was a possibility that the Israelis might see this as an opportunity to go through Syria and hit Iran. And it seems as though that's exactly what they're thinking. From the Times of Israel, the IDF sees a chance for strikes on Iran, and specifically they're going to target their nuclear sites. Because the Iranians are desperate, guys, they're going to try and get a nuclear missile probably as soon as possible, most likely. And the Israelis are going to be looking at how do we do anything in our power to prevent that. 85% of Assad's regime military capability destroyed. 85%. Now, again, it's going to be a matter of when, I think, at this point, not if. And because the IDF is going to do this, how does Iran respond, first of all? And is it going to happen before or after Trump's inauguration, which is another key factor of this entire situation? And again, you're already seeing a bunch of the Twitter reports, Israel preparing for potential strikes against Iran. And again, other sourcing from this Israeli army radio station in Israel, the IDF believes this is an opportunity to attack the nuclear facilities in Iran. And again, we've been talking about this, guys. And not only is this coming from, we're already starting to see all the news flood here. The IDF is going to do this. We're also hearing that the IDF is trying to get, or the Israeli government is trying to convince the Americans to join them. That would be pretty wild to me if that happens. I don't think you're going to see that. I mean, that would be a wild step if the Biden administration were to agree to this. But there's definitely going to be coordination. You can have no mistake about that. I think it'll be similar to the prior Israeli attack on Iran around a month or two ago at this point now, where the U.S. will be in the know and they'll be on standby. But I don't think you're going to see targeted strikes specifically by American forces. But honestly, at this point, who the hell knows? This is an unprecedented situation, as we've been discussing for the last several videos here. And guys, by the way, make sure to like and subscribe. It's super good for the algorithm, and I appreciate that very much. So, and again, we're talking now about how we're hearing all these murmurings and how it's going to happen. I think it's pretty clear it's going to happen. And even more of an indication, and maybe the most important indication, is coming from Benjamin Netanyahu today. Again, he gave a direct message, and he's been talking a lot more recently about the fall of the Assad regime. We've been talking about how the Israelis have been making incursions into Syria, taking land, and basically taking up specific reconnaissance points and strategic points all across Syria. We talk about Mount Hermon, for example. Now, Netanyahu gave a message directly to the Iranian people today, which was very strange, and he made a similar statement of this prior to the last attack to the Iranian people, which people thought was strange. His specific statement was, and I'm going to quote this: Israel wants peace. We want peace with all those who truly want peace with us, and I have no doubt that you, the people of Iran, know this. I know that just as we want peace with you, you want peace with us. But you suffer under the rule of a regime that subjugates you and threatens us. Do you know what the regime is truly terrified of? It's terrified of you, the people of Iran, and one day I know that we will have freedom, blah, blah, blah. Okay. He also said, but not specifically in this quote, he also said that we're going to see freedom quicker than you expect. What does that mean? What do you mean quicker than you expect? That's a little weird, no? So I think the indication, it's pretty clear to me. What he's saying is, oh, we're going to go into Iran pretty quickly, and we're going to do it pretty soon. And because the regime is so weak, guys, all its proxies are defeated. It's extremely vulnerable. You're going to see, if there's a direct attack on Iran, I'm not sure if it'll hold. Again, the main and the key difference from the Assad regime, guys, is in Syria, there was many opposition groups already. There was many opposition groups inside Syria itself. You don't see that in Iran. Therefore, it'll be so much harder to topple the entirety of the regime, which is widespread all across the country in terms of the cleric class, etc. But again, who knows? The population of Iran is very different than a lot of other Middle Eastern countries. It saw relatively democratic, not democratic. The Shah was not democratic in any sense of the word. But in terms of social freedom under the Shah, it was far different than under the Islamic Republic of Iran. So the question is going to be, what exactly is going to be the transition here? We saw the crown prince, the former crown prince of Iran, Reza Pahlavi. He actually made a statement today calling for the overthrowing of the regime. Again, obviously, he has his own ulterior motive to this. He wants the regime to get overthrown so he can take his place. First of all, I think the idea of a monarch coming in after they overthrow a dictatorship is not exactly what's in the best interest of the Iranian people, but we'll see what happens with that. But again, pretty wild. Netanyahu making direct threats, basically. That's what I would call it. Direct threats after here we go again. News coming out of the Times of Israel and other Israeli sources that the IDF wants to attack. It's going to be when, not if. I expect it to be before the Trump inauguration, and I think it'll be soon because the Syrian air defenses, that's why they hit their defenses, guys. They hit their air defenses so they can go into Iran more easily and on a quicker track. Now, before there's any sort of retooling by the Syrian military, I think they're going to try and get this done quick. And I think the question is going to be how intense is it? But I think it's going to be intense. I think BBC sees an opportunity here, and I think it's very dangerous for the region. And the question is going to be how do Iranian partners like the Russians engage? Scary times, but it's certainly interesting to say the least. And again, it's going to be crazy. And the moment we hear about an Iranian attack, I'll get that to you. But I'm just trying to keep you guys updated because there is so much news coming out on this front right now, and specifically the nuclear facilities, which I'm sure they know all about. I'm sure the Israelis know all about it. It's going to be crazy, crazy to see how this all develops. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And again, we got some interesting developments coming out over the next few weeks, which I'll keep you guys in the loop on. Make sure to like some of my other videos from the last few days, which are also kind of related to this. So, wild times. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. So, thanks, guys.